Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Globally Ballin podcast. This is episode 56 of the show, the second of which has a video version to the show. So thank you very much for the support, whether you're watching or you're listening. For those of you that are unfamiliar, Globally Ballin promotes leagues, spotlights teams and opportunities, and tells players' stories. So again, thank you for visiting however you are. For this episode of the Globally Ballin podcast, we found our guest in one of the many groups that we're a part of for the business, and he had a post about the fact that he had a tryout with the National Gridiron League, and the steps that followed, including the tryout, led him with a lot of questions and growing concern. And we'll get into the details in the interview. I don't want to give any of that away. But just briefly, we're looking at the National Gridiron League, a football league in the United States, told from the perspective of an individual who had a tryout and more steps. It was more than just a tryout, more steps with the National Gridiron League, how it ended, how the questions were answered, if they were answered, and any lingering questions that he and I still potentially have about the National Gridiron League. So if you've heard about the league, or if you haven't, this may be the episode for you to learn about one of the football leagues in the United States, told from the perspective of a potential player who went to a tryout and more with the National Gridiron League. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your support. And, we started to discover all of these other leagues that are around. And so starting there, we've done over 50 episodes, men and women, all sports, both American and overseas, kind of digging into these opportunities. And one of the big things we don't like, but we want to make sure we talk about is some of the bad things that happen, which is because these leagues are so undercovered that it's pretty easy for something like probably what we're going to talk about to happen to people if you don't know what you're looking for. And some things you don't know, or you're completely just straight up lied to, and there's really nothing you can do about that. So that's where we are today. And so I am excited. I'm going to show a screen in a second here, but we've done a lot of football. We did European football, Japanese football in Brazil, and then, of course, arena, both NAL and old arena football. No IFL actually yet, or AAL. But we've also never done Gridiron League. And so I am excited about that. To kind of dig into that a little bit. So, John, to start off, why don't you introduce who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, my name is John Yaple. I am from a small town in northeastern Pennsylvania, and, well, I'm a football player. And what I would say? Yeah, I played football all through middle school, high school. From 10th grade, really kind of thought about, hey, I want to go to college. I want to continue playing football. Do you hear me not say anything about academics? I was just more interested in the football aspect of it all. But, 10th, 11th, 12th grade comes along. I didn't get any offers or anything like that. But I was accepted academically through a couple D2 schools in my area, a couple of Division III schools. And I decided to attend Misericordia University, Division III school. In my area. I went there for 3 semesters, so I played 2 years there. Had a great time, I really did, but unfortunately financially couldn't keep up, so I had to drop out. And I was just really upset, because I love football, and I got the chance to play college football, and I loved it, every second of it, even the shitty parts, waking up 6 a.m. lifts, film all day. I loved it. But after I left school, I had to face reality, had to get a job. And then I came across a couple, smaller leagues. Really didn't take them seriously until one of my buddies, oh, come on out, give it a try. And I did. And honestly, I liked it. It was great. It's a nice little 8-man league based out of Pennsylvania. Very competitive, actually. But I played it. I loved it. I'm actually still doing it to this day. But I always wanted to do a little more. I always thought I always want to play the best of the best. Obviously, I'm 24 right now. I'm not going pro. I ain't going to the NFL. I know for a fact. But I want to see how far I can really get into it. So I kind of threw some some film here and there. And probably late 2018, early 2019, I've heard of this league called the NGL, National Gridiron League. And obviously, it was new, never really heard of it. Kind of looked into it. They had a website, seemed pretty legit. And I saw that they had tryouts for a team in our area. And they were, at the time, the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Pioneers. And obviously, if you're not from the area, you wouldn't know. But many years ago, in the early 2000s, early mid-2000s, there was an arena team here called the Pioneers, based out of the same cities. And me and my old man used to go to their games, and I absolutely loved it. So when I heard they wanted to come back in town, I hopped on it. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait for my pops to come watch my games, be a Pioneer. So I'm excited. So probably in November, early November, they had a tryout at a local park, which I kind of seen like, oh, that's a strange place to have it. But next to the park, it's a local Division III college football field. So I'm like, hey, maybe we'll have it there. So I show up about an hour and a half early, want to stretch, make sure, I'm all warmed up, I'm hydrated, want to talk to everybody. And cars everywhere. Place is packed. Music's playing, and I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Great competition. I'm going to be able to play the best of the best in my area, and who knows? Maybe I can get signed. So I pulled up, come to find out, like, oh, I'm an idiot. It's Saturday afternoon. The college game's going on. All right, that's why all the cars are there. Hey, whatever. This should still be a good turnout. And I was there, and then two other guys were walking around. They looked like bigger guys, so I went up to them. They were there for the tryout as well. Like, okay, so there's three of us. And they're like, hey, there was another guy, but he's driving around trying to find what's going on. I'm like, what do you mean? Supposedly, what was I going to say? No, supposedly, like a certain coach was going to be there, and they haven't heard back from him. Like, all right, whatever. And then finally, about an hour and a half, so like tryout was supposed to start at a certain time, hour and a half late, guy pulls up, hey, let's get the drill started. Like, no apologies, just, hey, let's get this started. All right, cool. There's only four of us. And so, like, all right, are we going to go like on the side of the field by the college field? No, we had this supposable professional arena tryout in a park baseball field, like right on the infield. We had this tryout. So, all right, a little sketchy, but hey, who knows? So we did some agilities, 40-yard dash, some drills, got our heights and weights, and two of us is like, hey, really liked your skill set. We're going to sign you. Great. The other guy, the one, he just graduated high school. He got sent, but he was getting invited to camp, and the other one still had another tryout to go to, so he didn't accept it.
So, John, to be clear, you were one of the ones that was getting signed at this point.
Correct, yes. There was me and a wide receiver from Buffalo University. And so a couple days down the line, I got an email. It's the contract. I'm reading it. I let my parents read it. I'm like, hey, you guys see more formal documents than me. They said it seemed legit. All right, so electronically signed it, sent it, great. And haven't heard back from them. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then around December, like right around Christmas time, I get an email saying, oh, happy holidays. Oh, yeah, training camp starts at the end of January. Well, holy crap. I didn't hear from these guys in about a month and a half, and now I have training camp in a month. So, I'm busting my hump. I'm working out. I'm in pretty good shape. And so they want us to report to the Holiday Inn up in Wilkes-Barre. And I showed up. Two of the same guys I saw at the tryout were there. I'm like, oh, great. So we were talking, reconnecting. Then another guy who came, he was actually drafted by the Pioneers, the team. And so there's four of us. And we're sitting around in the lobby, hear nothing. One of the guys tries to call the coach. Line was dead. I try to call the league office multiple times, no answer.
Yikes.
So we go, so yeah. Oh, it gets worse, trust me. So we're like, all right, hey, maybe they're at the local dome where we're gonna have the practice. We go there, nothing. So we go to the people who are running the dome, and they said, "Oh, what are you guys here for?" "Oh, we're with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pioneers, like for practice and tryouts and training camp." And they're like, "Oh yeah, back in September, some guy actually came and talked about running the dome out, but that was it." So there was no contracts signed about having the dome for that weekend or anything. He's like, "Oh yeah, just a random guy came in and talked about it. No paperwork was signed. They just talked about it." All right, that's strange. Go back to the hotel, and then very nice ladies. I'm not being sarcastic. They're very helpful and nice. They're like, "Oh, hey guys, how may I help you? You guys were here earlier." And we were like, "Hi, we're with the the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pioneers." And we're like, "Same thing as the dome guy. Yeah, back in September, some guy came and they talked about, renting out so many rooms." And that was it. There was no contract signed. There was no rooms up for any of us. So we're like, okay, what's going on? They were told to be here and practice would be at this dome. We go at the dome. Field's not reserved for anybody. Go to this hotel. There's no rooms reserved for anybody. And luckily, I'm pretty local. It's only about 40-minute drive from where I was living at the time. But there was a guy who was from Buffalo, New York. There's another guy from Lake Erie. There's another kid from Delaware. Like,
Oh.
that sucks. And honestly, there's guys from farther away, and thank God they didn't show up. But so after that, I'm just like, okay, what the hell's going on? So I'm doing more research, but they keep updating the website, which is blowing my mind. I'm like, what's going on?
Like a team website or a league website?
The league website.
Okay.
Yeah, so the league website, and they're saying that all these teams are adding all these former professionals or all these big time older arena players. I'm like, is it just our team? What's going on? And then come to find out, I didn't know. I found out from the website the Wilkes-Barre team at the time was now being relocated to Pittsburgh, which we weren't told anything about it. It just randomly popped up. And I'm like, oh, all right. Still try to call the league office, no answer. Just try to get a hold of the coaches, lines were dead. And I was just like, I'm in the dark here. Like, I want to be able to, go out, and if I have a chance to play for other paid leagues, obviously I want to do it. It'll be great. But I'm in the dark. And then just actually a couple days ago, I came across this Facebook page, and that's where I actually started talking to you. And I just put a post on there just saying, hey guys, anybody hear anything? And come to find out, it's not just one team, it's league wide. There's multiple players from, I believe there was St. Louis and then a team from Indiana had the same issue. They got signed, they go to training camp, nobody's there. They don't hear anything from the league, I don't hear anything from any of the coaches. And so obviously I think we were just scammed. But if you want to take $60 from me for, a tryout fee, but you start a fake league, a fake website that you keep updated, you know what? Good for you. You can keep my $60. Congratulations. But it's just, I don't know, man. It sucks. Don't get me wrong, but
okay,
now
so
I got closure.
I have a lot of questions. One, do you still have the contract you signed?
I do have it on my home computer. Yes.
Another question for me is, and I know you mentioned they scammed me out of $60. Good for you guys. I know it's got to be annoying, painful, probably embarrassing, upsetting, all of that at once. But do you think it's a scam, or do you think it was more they're trying to do this and they just never succeed at getting it going? I don't know, because we haven't done any national grid, or we haven't done this league before. I want to know what you think, being one of those people that found themselves in one of those extremely unfortunate situations. How would you word it?
Well, supposedly they were going to start earlier than, like 2018, but they didn't start the season because they didn't have enough funds. So they didn't really like fold. The league didn't fold per se, but they just, hey, we're gonna hold off. We're just gonna hold off for a year until we get the funds. So I saw that. I'm like, you know what? That's pretty professional. Not try to go all gun ho. Just take a step back, regather everything, and then start again in 2019. So I saw that. I'm like, hey, that's pretty smart. And then this came along, and then you can look at the website. It's a full-blown website. It looks legit. They're getting supposedly big-name players, but nothing's happened.
All right.
So I honestly, I don't know. I personally hope it's not a scam because I know for a fact I'm not the only one who was affected by this, and it sucked. It really did. Because I was able to tell, my friends and family, like, hey, guys, I'm playing for an arena team, and I totally want you guys to see me play. It'd be great. And then this comes out, and they're all excited. Like, hey, when are you guys going to play? When are you going to play? And, like, I haven't heard from them in, like, 3 months. And so, first, deep down, for all the rest of the players who got screwed over, I really hope it wasn't a scam and hope it was just, the league couldn't, dot the I's and cross the T's. But
so for people that are watching, John, I pulled up the whole kind of chain here. I want to look at it. So not looking, I'm reading it here. It says, has anyone heard of any info recently about the National Gridiron League and GL? Back in November, I signed a contract with them at the time, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pioneers. We were supposed to have minicamp in January, and I reported to a hotel, and only 4 players showed up. Tried calling coaches in the league office, and nothing. Then I checked the league's website a month later, and the team relocated to Pittsburgh. I'd like to continue my football career, but for an organization that is established, has a good culture, and is in a league that has been around and has been successful for a while. And we got your stats, where you played, and all that great information. So that's your scenario. Now, I'm going to, just because I know who you are, I don't want to put everybody else's name on here. So I'm going to, hang on a second. I'm going to read some of their comments, though. So I took their thing off. Right. And, obviously me and you read through all these, John. Yeah. And right away, the responses we're getting are not great, right? We get the first one that's directly related to the NGL is the NGL is not going to happen. That's your first one. Then we get a response from another player who says, I signed with the Arkansas Twisters and haven't heard anything from the league or any coaches since March. And this would have been posted about a day ago. Our head coach also left the team during late February and took a job at a college. He said he hasn't heard anything from the league either. Another NGL does this every year. They get your money to try out, then don't play. Guys show up for camp, and there's nothing at the hotel. More saying, please stay away from them, and all of this. Now, that being said, if anyone from the NGL ends up seeing this episode, we'd love to have you on. Let's talk about it a little bit, because
I definitely want to watch.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do, or anyone with us, and I'm sure even John, the last thing anyone wants to do is to have one story, especially if you got an answer. So we'd love to have anyone on the NGL or Pioneers or anybody mention. Let's chat. Let's see what we can figure out. But at least from where we're looking, and that's a group who's all dedicated about indoor or basically football in the United States that isn't the NFL or the XFL. Not a whole lot of great answers about the NGL.
Yeah.
And so that's not a great start.
No.
But before you went through all of this, John, did you have any idea what the NGL was? Have you heard about it? Anything like that?
Honestly, not really. I just I did some research. I just basically put not local, but like just indoor football leagues. And I don't know, I grew up with, the Philadelphia Soul, and there's the Gladiators and the Rattlers and the Predators. But those teams are still around, but they're all kind of spread out in different leagues, and there's so many leagues that come up and like, oh, they look successful, and then a year or two, right down the drain. And
go ahead.
And it's just, I didn't know if I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just.
So, yeah, you mentioned the website, and you said it's a pro looking website, and it is.
Yeah.
I have it up on the screen right now. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yep.
here's your Pittsburgh Pioneers, John. There
Yep.
they are.
That's my squad.
Would have been nice to kind of let your players know, but all right, whatever.
Yep.
That's okay. So it absolutely looks like a very professional website. Let's coast around a little bit, John. Why don't we? Let's see what we can find out. So let's find your Pittsburgh Pioneers. I'm under the tickets. Ooh, are you still seeing that or no? Oh, I think I lost
Yep,
it.
we're good.
Yeah, let me switch to, hang on a second. Tickets opens up a new one. And really all I'm getting is things like season tickets for 2020. And if we look up on the top, it looks like 2020 was supposed to start in August 1. Obviously, like every other league, NGL is no different. Everyone gets a pass in 2020 as far as whether or not you're going to play. That seems pretty fair to me, at least. But not letting people know is a little bit of a different story. So we have the schedule all set up. It looks like they play in August. And yeah, like we said, it looks like everything is very legit looking.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know what? Even if you did if you would have done your research through the NGL website, I don't know how I would not have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's assuming I'm talented enough to play, which I'm not. But this is, I don't know how I wouldn't have done the same thing. This looks very legitimate. Okay. So yeah, I'm that's insane to me. We've never, obviously, like I said, we've never had a show with someone who's played in it. I think it's obvious why we have it now.
Yeah.
But that actually answers a lot of questions for us. We've never had anybody on the show from the league. Well, now we know why. So before you went NGL or tried to, was there any interest from you to do anything else? I mean, there's a whole slew of indoor football leagues in the United States. There is football overseas. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar? Did any of that sound good to you? Was any of that something you would have considered or thought about?
Oh, absolutely. I was actually in contact with I think it was like a partial owner for a team over in Switzerland. And we were kind of talking about it, and it was more of a developmental kind of league. And basically like obviously you would have to get a job there. So you would get like, your work visa, so you'd be able to actually play there. And I was actually considering it, but with my situation right now, I'm in a pretty good situation right now in life, and I really couldn't fully commit to that. And then there was another league, I believe in Japan, where certain companies and corporations owned a team. Mm-hmm. So you would work for that corporation, but you'd be able to play for their team. And it's like more like IT work. Yeah. I heard about that, and that actually seemed pretty cool, not gonna lie. But I'm not tech savvy whatsoever. You saw how long it took me to get onto this podcast, so that's not really my cup of tea. But oh yeah, there's other leagues, and I'm actually just in the past few days I've been talking to two teams in the one's in the AAL and the other one will be soon be joining the AAL.
Okay. All right. So it wouldn't be right of me not to plug previous episodes, John. I think you can understand that. So I don't know if that's blurry. Oh God, I hope that's not blurry. But I'm going to read it anyway. So these are the past ones we've done. We do all sports, like I said. But if you are interested and you are looking for some things, I would dive into some of these and at least find one that looks interesting. We have Austin, who played in Austria, and then we have one with the Jacksonville Sharks. Some old arena football, another NAL, American football in Europe with Sean Shelton, a past AFL guy who played with the LA Kiss.
Okay.
Paul Boyette Jr., who's going to go play in Japan once that's all set, and we got NFL, UFL, CFL, and AFL. So those definitely I would encourage you to check out. But as you also probably have found, groups that we're in, right? Obviously, me and you together are a great place to start and to drop those ideas, and you get a lot of responses of people that seem to know a lot more than you think people would know. It's a weird don't want to say cult following because that seems unfair, but it's a very specific following that, if you get with the right people and ask the right questions, you're going to get the answers you need. So that's an encouragement to you and anybody else watching. If there's something you've never heard of, or even somebody or a group or team you think you know about, drop a line in one of those groups and see what you hear, because you'd be surprised what kind of answers you might get back. All, again, purpose to avoid what unfortunately John went through. But that's why we're so happy, John, that you'll come on and talk about that so we can learn from it and everybody watching can learn from it and do their investigative work. And again, NAL or NGL, anybody out there, come on, let's chat. Let's hear about it. Let's get maybe an explanation if you got one. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely.
But John, anything else you think young men playing football that maybe NFL is not in their grasp, CFL is not in their grasp, but they don't want to not play football if they can help it? What's some advice you would give to them? Man,
it's extremely cliche, but don't give up on your dreams. If you want to do something so bad, you'll be able to do it. There's a lot of different routes you can go. As of right now, just to pass the time, I'm currently in an 8-man league. It's just a regular outdoor. It's not paid or anything. We do it for fun. And you know what? It's keeping me in shape. It's really fueling my competitive edge. And so, yeah, I can't make a living out of it. I'm not getting paid. I have a full-time job. But you know what? It's better than nothing. Like, I love football. I've always have. I always will. And it's a big part of my life. And I know I'm not the only one. There's millions and millions of dudes out there who feel the same way. And if you love something bad enough, you'll find a way. And it's not that hard either. It's just look around, like the site, like me and you, where we first connected. We're a huge community who are just fanatics, and just me posting that, it answered so many questions I had, and I'm like, why didn't I find you guys before? But it's just learn from me, do your research, find a league that's established, and just keep grinding. You'll make it. You'll make it. You'll go through some bumps and bruises, but you'll be all right.
John, when it comes to, what was tainted for you by your experience, was it a bad taste left in your mouth from the team or the league, or a little bit of both?
I would say a little bit of both. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm only 24, but I grew up pretty old school. Just word of, like, whatever a man says to you, that should be true. That's his word. That's the most important thing to a man. And actually, this is a big shocker. That coach who showed up an hour and a half late, he actually wasn't a coach at all. He was the actual owner of the NGL.
Of the league?
Of the league, yes. I completely forgot to tell you that, but yeah.
God, you kind of buried the lead on that one, my friend.
Yeah, so just imagine going to a workout for the NFL and have Roger Goodell, doing some drills with you. That's basically what it was, which we didn't know at the time who he was. We just thought he was an assistant coach, but come to find out, he was the owner of the league. And when I found that out, I just knew. I'm like, okay, something's not right here.
When did you find that out?
I just kind of did my research. Because I believe his name was Joe, so we just call him Coach Joe.
Yeah, I got Joe. Joe McClendon?
Yeah, there we go.
That's the name I got.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll look up Coach Joe, I'm looking, and I found his on LinkedIn profile. And it said, like, owner of the NGL. I'm like, owner? What are you talking about? I'm doing my research, I'm looking. He's the owner of the damn league, and he was running the workout.
All right, now you got me all messed up here, John. Hang on a second, because I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I got him. All right, so, well, wait a minute. So now I got to look at those teams again, because I want to see if are they all over the place? Does it make sense for the owner to be near you? That is crazy.
Yeah,
Especially,
honestly, I don't know.
all right, yeah, no, I'm gonna pull them up right now.
All right.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me quick pull them up one more time here. Change my screen here so everybody can see them. All right. So teams, we have Indiana, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Virginia Beach, Virginia again, Arkansas, Kansas City, St. Louis, Mississippi, Houston, Baton Rouge. All right. I'm not exactly. Kansas City is probably the farthest west. I don't really know where Houston is in the state of Texas, but we're not going all the way west. So still though, wow, that's crazy to me. That just you blew my mind for a second, John. I was not expecting that response.
Yeah.
So you said you found out he was the owner afterwards, and then have you tried to reach out to the team like just for fun afterwards? Like not really for fun, but to like at least try to get a hold of him now that you've moved on, you're done with it, you're not going to play with him, but at least try to get a word in edgewise with him at some point, or have you kind of just tried to put that behind you?
I used to send them emails like, hey, my name's so and so, I signed a contract so and when, and just curious about when training camp is. I've gotten no personal emails. It's just generated league emails that they send to everybody. And
so some automatic replies.
Yes. Yep. And obviously they made them all pretty and fancy, like the website is, or I ask them questions, and they just send those generators replies that don't answer my questions, and then that bombshell just dropped with the owner. I just knew, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this league.
So, man, this is frustrating, John, because this is what makes it hard for other leagues to gain trust with other people is when we get things like this. Because obviously starting a league, and again, we're basing this off episodes we've done in the past with owners, team owners, league owners. It's not easy to start a fan base in any sport, and then B, develop longevity enough for people to kind of trust what's going on, get players in, agents if you're that big. But trust is so difficult. And then when we get this, really frustrating because not only does it not happen, which is one thing, leagues fold, that happens. We know that does, especially in the beginning. It's really difficult. But to fold and not say anything is so much different, and in my opinion, so much worse, that I can't imagine the frustration you felt, John. And I'm glad you're still playing football and still enjoying it. And I'm very glad you shared it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
All right, John, I think that's all we're going to need. If we get any sort of response, we'll let you know. I don't know if I'll hear anything from them or not, but
probably not. Probably just another generated email like everybody else.
I'll see how I can. I mean, I'll try to go around the email. We'll see how much deeper we can dig. But I do want to thank you for being on and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. You are the first one to do video. We've done 50 plus audio, and we're mixing it up and starting to do kind of a video form. So you said you're not tech savvy, John, but you are the first one to join us video. So I appreciate it. Anybody watching or listening, if you are interested, again, I'll pull that screen up one more time here so you can see the different football specific. I'm guessing you joined us because you're a fan of football. If you'd like, here are our past episodes we've done. These are all audio form. You can find it on Apple Podcast, Anchor, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Or there's arena football all the way up to football around the world. If you're interested at all, that's the Globally Ballin podcast. Go ahead and check it out. John, thank you very much once again for joining us, man. Stay safe and enjoy playing out there.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. God bless.
You too, man. Thanks.